Okay, here we go. I presume we didn't get past the first page, right, on the save files?
待ってよ
So that's just wait, right? Chotomate kudasai is wait a bit, please. So mateo would just be wait. Yue ran into the platform, complaining. I just noticed. There we go. I presume it would mean ran onto the platform. Now, the word for platform is actually in the Duolingo vocabulary very early, but it's really hard for me to remember it, so I wouldn't be able to pick out what's the platform in here. It's probably also written with kanji. And it's okay, let me, you probably have no interest in this, but this here, this particle, or this hiragana, is pronounced O. Sometimes you write it wo, but it's pronounced O. And it's always used in contemporary Japanese. It might have been used differently in ancient Japanese, but in contemporary Japanese, it's only ever a postposition to indicate the object that the verb, which would come at the end of the sentence, is acting on. So whatever comes before this O here, if you could see my cursor in the capture, which would be these two kanji, is the object. Because she's running into the platform, you would think that maybe this was platform. And I could go copy it in Google Translate and check. Actually, I'll do that. And I was completely wrong. That is complaining. It was more like Yue complains as she runs into the platform. Well then. So the platform is homu then. Now I learn what complain is. I'm probably going to forget it though. It was just home. Anyway, I'll just keep going. You're probably really bored of that. Japanese business. But you have to remember that my main goal of doing this is to try to immerse in Japanese somewhat, right? Like, the game itself isn't really that interesting. It kind of is in that it's part of Uchikoshi's discography, and we turned out that so far there's been two references, strong references, not oblique references, to this game in the Infinity series. Nini Nekopyon and Jewel Chocolate. So, lore-wise, it's doesn't really add to the story of the Infinity series, but it's kind of interesting in that way. But in and of itself, apart from its connection to the author of the Infinity series and references into the Infinity series, this game isn't very interesting. It's kind of really long and really boring. It isn't really that much of a mystery, although there might be something going on with Ayaka. And it's basically just kind of make friends with each of these girls. That's it. There's nothing. It doesn't appeal. It's not the right kind of genre for me, right? Like I want stuff that's has an intense situation with suspense, with a mystery, like Danganronpa, for example. Nandayo Oru Saizo. What? I don't know what that is. I'm going to hit the translate button. Nandayo is something I see a lot, though. Okay, that's what? And then shut up. Well, that's crazy.
定期切れてたから切符買ってたのにそのままどっか行っちゃうんだから
We don't know if... So it seems to me that Tomoya didn't really study for his midterms at all, right? He got the books, But then he decided I can watch my TV program I like to watch. And he's like, now I can take a nap. And then he just woke up in the morning, having not done any studying whatsoever, right? It's because the commuter pass was over. I bought a ticket. And then you went off somewhere else. Let's see what Google Translate has to say. Nah, I think it's fine. I had to go somewhere. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. The last part, but the have to go somewhere part that was kind of weird, but it's probably on the platform somewhere. Oh, the ticket. Oh, the ticket went somewhere. Okay, so she lost her ticket.
無視していくことないじゃないか。もう。
There's no need to ignore me, jeez. It's gonna kind of ignore that jeez is like a pseudo, is like an abbreviation of Jesus Christ. It's not a very literal translation. I'll be waiting on the platform, so it shouldn't be a problem.
もう冷たいんだから。
Oh, it's like where you buy the ticket is somewhere on the platform. Okay, so she hasn't lost her ticket, she just needs to buy one. Just waiting for her to buy one. Jeez, you're so cold.
お母さんがね、ともちゃんのこと心配してたよ。ご飯はちゃんと食べてるのかって。
So it starts with Okasan. Trying to remember who is Okasan. Is it like an older woman? Like or mother or something? And then something about eating and something about upperclassmen. Let's see what it translates to. Mom always gave Tomo-chan orders. She asked you, she's talking about Tomo-chan asked you if you were eating properly. So your mom called me to ask you if you were eating properly, I think it's what this is supposed to be. Okay, so my options are Tabe Terute. I don't know what the first part is. And then Chanto de wa Naiga Tabe Teru. What's the Teru verb ending? I never heard of that one, unfortunately. But these kanji are really hard to OCR. Oh, I see it, of course. Okay. Of course, I'm eating shellfish. Oh. Of course I'm eating. Is the answer. The shellfish came from the kanji that means food getting messed up of all kanji. So of course I'm eating. Or I'm not eating properly, but I am eating. I mean, he's getting his lunch that he usually gets from the lunch lady. Except sometimes even better, right? And, I don't know. I would say that, of course I'm eating properly. I go with the top one. If I were him. And I wouldn't necessarily be lying. Now, if I were me, as opposed to him, I would not answer it that way. I would answer the second one. But that's me. Trying to be the protag here. Daijoubu, which is basically like, I'm okay, I am eating properly.
そっか。
Is that so, when abbreviated way? So instead of like, so desu ka, it's like, sokka. Why did Yue ask? Why did Tomoya's parents ask Yue that, as opposed to like just straight up asking Tomoya? They just don't trust Tomoya to tell the truth. I could see why. It's still weird though. The first day of exams ended without incident, giving us time to relax for the time being. You mean the first hour of exams, perhaps? What's an incident? You do bad on the exam? It's so heavy that I can't help but feel indebted to her. Indebted to who? The old lady whose cat you were messing with? Kaoru, who you were studying with? Yue, who went with you to retrieve your textbooks but wasn't really that helpful. Actually got you in some trouble. But then told you that it was the handout that you needed to memorize for the geography, so she helped in some way or other. I don't know which woman he's thinking. Now that I think about it, she actually finished earlier than usual. Who did? I don't feel that way at all. I think today's tests are all passing marks, but at this rate, I'll need to prepare for tomorrow right away. Yeah, passing? Rarely ever been a situation where passing was, I'm happy with that and without incident. I usually am trying to get an A, which is usually a tremendous amount more difficult than passing. I could pass with no effort whatsoever. C for college, right? What was I was going to say something else too. There's always that one guy where you're taking that exam. This is happened in college. Where like halfway through the exam, and you are also pacing yourself right. So you're about halfway through your exam. Someone just walks up and turns in their exam and leaves. Yes, there's always that one person, and you're always sitting there wondering whether or not he just did it really fast, or he had certain problems where he just knew that he didn't know how to do them, and no clue how to do them. And no matter how he would sit and think about it, there'd be no chance that he would ever figure out how to do them. And so he just gave up on them and just turned in what he had. If anybody has been that person, let me know what exactly the situation is there. I've rarely ever, I always take the full exam period, right? When I'm done, I always go back and I redo all the problems on the test. I don't just go through line by line. I redo them, right? Because the first problem on the test, and I always say problems, I always say engineering and math and physics tests mostly, inevitably I'll make some really stupid mistake. Because for some reason my brain has to kind of warm up into it. And when it's not warm, it does weird, silly mistakes. So the first problem on the test, I do whatever one that is, and I may not necessarily do them in order. I have to go back and check that one especially. And then I go through the whole test. And if I still have time left in the test period, I'll do it a third time. I'll just keep rechecking the test. I don't just turn it in and leave. So, I don't know. I just haven't been that person. Of course, I also don't do it. It depends on, sometimes I do the test in order from the front to the back, and sometimes I do it in a miscellaneous order. If I'm going into it with this mindset of in order to get an A in this class, I have to get 100% on this test. I cannot miss a single point. It doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about running out of time. Then I'll start at the beginning. And we'll look at things like how many points each problem is worth, or how difficult each problem is. I will just start from the top and just go through. Is whatever comes up next, I just do it. If I'm going in with this mindset of like, perhaps I know I'm not going to get 100%, because I know that this test is just too much to do in the time period, because this is the nature of the class. They're going to like, they're going to have that situation where the professor intentionally makes something unfinishable. Or I don't necessarily need 100% on the final to get an A in the class. I'm all set from all the other categories. I only need to get like a 70 or something. Then I'll do things like try to find the most bang for the buck as opposed to points, the most bang for the buck as opposed to time questions, and do those first. And try to like get the highest probability that I'll make it to that 70%, or try to get as many points done and on the board as possible before time is up. So it really depends. But Studiolator's test taking, not tips. Braggadociousness, I guess. I'm just really good at college. I love going to college too. Too bad those years are over for me. This is high school though, not college, obviously, in this game. But this day will continue tomorrow, and the day after that. You mean the exams will? Just thinking about it was depressing. No, I always loved it when the exams came because you would tend to get less homework. Because you're supposed to be, quote unquote, studying for the exams. So this gave me like, my laziness was gratified when exams came up. Because I never ever studied for exams. Well, not never ever. I never did effectively. Sometimes I tried and then I gave up and then it still worked. I have no study habits whatsoever. But I would always do the homework. Nah, but then if it wasn't graded, I wouldn't do it. I'd always go to the lecture. That's the thing I'd always do. And that's something a lot of college kids don't do. I'd always go to the lecture. And I'd always do the homework if it's graded, obviously. If it wasn't graded, I wouldn't do it. I was able to keep track, but basically I was able to keep track of stuff as it was being introduced throughout the term. So there was no need to go back and review it all at the end. I already had it all down, right? I had it down piece by piece. It's easier to memorize stuff like that, piece by piece, building on it little by little, than it is to just cram everything at the end. That is advice. Let's stop thinking about it. Towa-san stood up next to me at the same time I shoved the problem sheet into my bag. Okay, so I presume what this is like one of those tests where you have you're supposed to write the test on your own paper, but then you're given the problems on the handout, so that the teacher doesn't have to print as many pages because that comes out of their salary or something. Yeah, and oftentimes, in college, I don't know about high school, college was allowed to take it with me afterwards. So, that was cool. I still have some of those. So very interesting ones at that.
どうしたの？まだ初日だよ。
So don't you know is what's wrong, right? I don't know what the second part is. Something about how was today. What's wrong? Is it only the first day? She asks in her usual tone, looking at me with an optimistic attitude. From the first day on, I created a situation where I couldn't expect anything from you. That sounds like a mistranslation, but it might not be, because it might turn around and go, but I was wrong.
大変だね。
It must be tough. Maybe he meant I didn't expect anything from myself, or something like that. Not anything from you. Tough. How about you, Otawa-san? Okay, it's basically just... okay, so the pronoun mix up. I had low expectations for myself.
私は
Watashi is I. Watashi wa is I, the subject.
ま、最終日をお楽しみにってことで
Well, it's the last day of the festival. What? I can't call it a passing grade, but I can give you a passing grade. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I think I mistranslated the previous line. Looks like that's how it is. Well, if it was Otawa-san, there is no helping it around here. I still don't get it. I don't get the drama. I don't know what's so dramatic about this. Yeah, it's only the first day.
うんその意気で頑張ろう
Yeah, let's do our best with that spirit. Oh. We couldn't say we were on the same level, but our bonds as friends who spent the same amount of time studying were firm. Right now, in a way, we're more powerful than those with a sense of camaraderie. As powerful as, you mean? Or, okay. When I think about it that way, I feel like I can do something about it. It's strange.
それじゃあね三上くん
See you later, Mikami-kun. See you later, Mata. See you tomorrow. Mata ashita, right? I leave the classroom with light steps. Still, despite it being her first test since coming to the school today, she seemed pretty relaxed. It's a long time ago that transfer students were good at studying. What does that mean? I gotta put the Google Translate. But Otawa-san be the same way. It's been said for a long time that transfer students are good at studying. Maybe Otawa-san is one of those people. Why? How little sense that expression makes. If you move, that makes you good at studying. If that's the case, then Otawa-san is a valuable presence. We're gonna sponge off her. Sponge time. Well, it's got nothing to do with me. Yes, it does. You said she was a valuable presence. Now that I'm ready, I think I'll go home too. I grab my bag and get up from my seat. Maybe if I had pursued Shion's route more heavily, maybe this would be a scene with her or something. I get my fiend to fill in here. As soon as I did, someone approached me. Okay, it's Yue or Shin, right? Because Otawa-san left. Shion's not here. Minamo's in a different class. And Koyomi's in lunchroom. So it's either Shin or Yue. I don't know which one. Okay,
今日
Shin.
のテストどうだったよ
Today's test, it's Kyo no Testo is today's test. Do datayo, which I presume is how was it? So it's how was today's test, right? OCR fail. I'll just have to hope my guess was right. His voice was awfully cheerful, and he stands in my way as he blocks my path, basically. Judging by his tone of voice, he seemed to have quite a bit of difficulty today. Or no difficulty? I thought he was cheerful sounding. Maybe wrong kanji. No. It translated to the exact opposite thing that I was expecting. Judging from his tone, it seems like he had a good response today. So he did not have difficulty, offline translator. He had a good response. He had it easy. Okay? However, as always, it's quite interesting to see where his confidence comes from. Because you don't expect Shin to do well. This character is so pointless. Not good, but not bad. Whoops. Geez, Shoji. Perfecta. I'm going to go with the bottom answer. That's what I would have. I would have said something like, I don't know, but I think it was better than what you got. Well, in that case, let's keep him in check. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
なるほど。まずまずの出来ってとこか。
I see. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. No, I was trolling you. But this is a good kind of trolling. Usually this pro tag, I hate it when he trolls, but that was a good kind of trolling. I told you. Perfect.
こっちもそんなもんだ。
If this was a curve, usually if this was rated on a curve, you just go I nailed it. That's what I'm talking about too. He doesn't show any signs of caring and nods in agreement. Well, Shin's the one who's always watching me cry after tests anyway. I don't know how many more days I'll be able to keep that confidence up. Wait just a second. Well, what happens at the end?
そっちこそな。
Likewise. Okay, I don't know what that was supposed to be likewise too, but... So janky. Leaving those uncharacteristic words behind, he left. I don't intend to compete with him, but I think he'll be a little self-conscious about what just happened. That said, I'm not the kind of person you should be thinking about. Now then, I was talking to Shin without thinking, but it's about time for me to go home too. Or so I thought, but that did not happen. After all. Ba 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 ba!
ともちゃん、もうどうしよう。
Okay, Yue being Yue. Tomo-chan, what should we do now? gets tackled. Gwa! Yes. For some reason that's written hiragana instead of katakana. I would write that in katakana. I took a tackle with my stomach in it from behind and collapsed onto the desk. Oh, you didn't go all the way to the ground? Okay. With everybody watching?
聞いてよ聞いてよ
Hey, listen, listen. Kiteo, kiteo. Okay, I'll listen. So stop crying from behind me. She finally pulls away from my back and smiles. I turn around and ask her what's wrong. Okay, noto. Something like, can I borrow your notes? Now, did you lose your notes? So, what's going on? I'll be nicer. What's going on as opposed to did you lose your notes? But the game tells me this is the pro UA choice. But I'm not doing UA's route, so I'm going to be authentic to what I would have chosen otherwise. So that when I do UA's route, I get different things. It's really hard to like stave UA off, right? You're gonna interact with her no matter what, like you're in a route or not, right? So explain what's going on.
あのね
You know.
今日のテストね
Today's test.
ともちゃん
Tomo-chan.
もうちゃんと聞いてる
Are you listening? I'm listening. I'm just being a little mean because you were talking in such a roundabout way. So what about today's test?
間違えちゃったの
I didn't really like it, right? I managed to avoid it. Huh? Mistake. What did you do? Sorry, I managed to avoid it. I messed up. Messed up, what'd you do?
回答欄に書く答え
An answer written in the answer section. Wah. Continue.
ああひどい笑うことないでしょ
Oh, that's mean. There's nothing to laugh about, is there? The fact that you're saying that to me makes me laugh even more.
ああそうなの
Oh, really? Don't tell me every careless mistake you make. You should go home and regret that all by yourself while being entangled in desperation. Or despair. What a nuisance. Wallow in your own muck. So how much will that affect today's test?
全然響かないけど。
It doesn't resonate at all, but... Okay, what does Google Translate have to say? Resonate? It doesn't sound good at all, though, or something like that. Oh. My temples twitch a little. Your temples twitch? I guess the uncontrollable indignation is already showing on her face.
でも、科学はいつも平均点以上取ってるから、やっぱり悔しいんだもん。
But chemistry always gets above average, so it's still frustrating. But in chemistry, I always get above average, probably. Suddenly I remember the chemistry test scores I'd taken today. I guess my expectations are just barely above average. And well, this is... Now then I'm going home.
ともちゃん、ゆえのお話聞いてくれないの？
Tomo-chan, why won't you listen to Yue? Or talk to Yue, or whatever. Just because you ask doesn't mean you're blind to that mistake, right? What's this mean? Just because you heard that doesn't mean you're blind to where you made that mistake, right? What's that? There is no point in asking.
そんなこと言わずに、ちゃんと聞いてよ。
It's like, I just wanted to vent though. I don't say that, just listen to me. I don't know. Tearing away Yue's laugh. Not laughter. Peeling off Yue, it was clinging to me and ran out of the classroom. This really is no joke.
ともちゃん
Tomo-chan! So I don't really get what's going on here. It's like figuring out that Yue thought that she would still get above average even if she wrote some of the answers in the wrong place. Would that make you feel good? Oh well. Told her not to shout my name in the hallway. Honestly. Even so, she shook off. So I shook off Yue and didn't stop running. Now we come this far, she won't be able to catch up if we're just a little slow. Now then, I really need to go home and study for my exams. Still another subject I can't let my guard down tomorrow. Just as I'm about to change my mind and head down the stairs. Or,
こんにちは。
hello. Well, I've been avoiding you, but, maybe I won't this time. Got that, like, long-haired, quiet hair, girl energy where, like, it seems to be just noticing these patterns with, girls like Tsugumi and Haruka and stuff. That archetype tends to pop up out of nowhere. Part of the scheme. Shaking text box. It's you, Futami-san. I could not help but react in surprise at her unexpected entrance. I guess as the player, I'm supposed to be surprised as well. This time, it looks like Futami-san is blocking my path. Sumimasen? This time it's you, Futami-san. It's like, it's me. Who was it before?
はい。
Yes? No, it's nothing. More importantly, is that from the library? The closet bag at her feet contained at least a few dozen books. I don't know if closet bag's the right word, but maybe like a briefcase kind of thing. Carpet bag. It doesn't matter how you look at it. It doesn't seem like books owned by an individual. But Futami-san quickly denied my words.
いいえ、これは私の私物です。
Yeah, so she talks like someone who learned Japanese. And so it's like she uses this, for example. It makes it easier for someone who's like an amateur to understand. Ie means no. Kore wa, that's this, demonstrative pronoun. Watashi is first person pronoun. No. This second set of kanji here, I can't put my cursor. I have to OCR it. But I would guess because it's watashi kanji followed by something is mine, and then des is. So, like if you omitted that, if you just said kore wa watashi no desu, it would just be this is mine. But this is my something with watashi in it. So it's like this is my personal stuff or something. We translate it. Oh, yeah, okay, personal belongings. It's close. Shibutsu. We're going to read all of that. And the second one is, oh, I see. Me personally, I would pick the bottom choice. But we'll see what the hint. I'm probably not going to follow the hints because I want to kind of interact with this character a bit more. So I don't know, but I would pick the bottom choice personally. Okay, there's no hint on this. In which I already translate that. It's like, oh, I see. Whoops. I had to do that again.
はい。
Yes. Hi means yes. Also, that's what you say when you answer the phone in Japan. Instead of like, hello, you go, hi. Get a kind of feel for the use of hi. It's impossible. There's so much.
私はこれから図書室へ行かないといけませんので、これで失礼します。
So, watashi wa is I. Kore kara. So when so kare kawa can either mean from this or because of this. I don't know. I got to translate it, but it's just so tantalizing. Like her voice stuff is like, I guess I can't replay the audio until you it gets into the backlog. I should hit read or something. Huh? Are you going to the library again today? Okay, we got the today. Today, this is kyo, mo, also. I'm guessing this is library here. These three kanji together. Ni, which is postposition that suggests destination. And it's also like what time you do something at. It's also ni. This is the iku no. So iku is the dictionary form of to go. So I presume this is an informal way of saying ikimasu ka, ikuno. Shion, the way she talks, she would have said ikimasu ka. Because she has that kind of voice. That's the way she talks. Tomoya appears to be less formal. Okay. So today also library go question.
はい。
Hi means yes. Once again, she said it as if it was only natural. There are still tests tomorrow and the day after, but she doesn't have to. She's me. She doesn't have to study for the tests, Tomoya. She should try out for Mensa. No. It's fine to go to the library, but were you okay with today's test? Okay, so I presume this is library. I don't know what hey as a particle means. That's kind of weird. This is kiku no wa. So you're making an infinitive out of this by using no here, but it's a wa instead of a ga, which is interesting. Make an infinitive form out of to go, a noun form out of to go, using the dictionary form. And then e is like good or okay, is good. I don't know what kedo means. Kedo, ikedo. I'll have to learn that at some point in time later. Today, no testo, which is the test that belongs to today, which is where they get today's test. Topic particle. Daijobu. I don't know what datano ka is, but whatever.
はい。勉強しましたから。
Okay, going to Binkyo. What does Binkyo mean? I know this word. Oh no, it's not coming to me, so I'm just gonna hit the translate button on it. Anyways, I'm gonna slap myself. Yes, I studied. Okay. Continuing. I do know that. Benkyou shimasu kara. By the way, the translator doesn't really pick up on this, but kara is because. So it's yes, because I studied. there's some of that meaning to it. It's not just I studied. Then, what about tomorrow? Tomorrow is ashita, by the way.
それは今から勉強します。
Okay, try this one. Sorry wa. So that's that as a topic. Is that, and then we have ima, right? Is now. Kara is because. And then we have binkyou shimasu, which is to study again. So it's like, that's because I will study now. I think. In that case, why don't we do it together? I want you to teach me English. So English is tomorrow? Tomoya, that is really forward. I wish I was that forward. Thanks for being a good role model.
わかりました。
So, I believe wakarimashita is I understood. I'm just going to go with that and not hit the translator. I'm just going to go to the next line. Futami-san's expression is somewhat calmer than usual. Silence and tacitness hung in the air. I wonder if Google Translate translates a slightly less obscure English word. A space with tranquility and secrecy. Well, I mean, the only thing, I actually don't really know what tacitness means. The context I would heard the word tacit is when you have a part of a big long piece of music where a certain instrument or a certain section of instruments doesn't play for a very long time. Or there'll be a movement where you don't just not include that instrument in the multi-movement piece. You will say in that movement, that section of that instrument will tacit. A tacit is like, or even if it's like, they do play in the movement, but there's like a really long spot, like a really long section, maybe like the whole trio section or something, where they don't play, it'll just say tacit. So, tacit is kind of like a silence, or a leave yourself out, being left out feeling. But I learned a new word today. I'll Google it. Tacitness. Without words or speech. So silent. Understood or made known, but not actually expressed. Okay, so tacitness is like a noun form of nonverbal communication. It's the same in every school. When I was in elementary school, we did this exercise to class where we each, in these groups of 4 or 5, tried to build together a house out of masking tape, paper clips, and index cards. But we weren't allowed to talk to each other. So everything had to be like non-verbal, like how you put it together. It's interesting. It works. It works surprisingly well, even for elementary school kids. You know, who needs words? Silence is the bare minimum of etiquette for those who enjoy reading. An unspoken rule is to protect the stored books from sunlight and to keep them in a state where you can read books forever. You're not very well enforced in the United States. Paperbacks are always hard because they just come apart. My Japanese textbook is paperback, and I have it spiral bound now because it came apart. This library has become the norm for all of us. Do you have study rooms, though? How my university library works is, yeah, you should be quiet in the actual, like, tables and common among the bookshelves, but there's, like, rooms you could go off into and you could rent. Not really rent, you don't have to pay anything, but you could reserve. And so Futami-san and I ended up studying for the test. Okay, what does shikashi mean by itself? But. So I guess it's like, what's the difference between shikashi and demo? Eto was like, Nandake. So I don't know, it's something no nandake. So what is something? Well, what was it again? In public? Public. What is it? Huh. I guess it's like asking a question about English.
パブリックです。
Oh. This could get kind of goofy because Shion's supposed to be really good at English, right? We would expect that also, like, Tsugumi would be good at English. Our parallel tropey stuff because, she lived in the United States for a while, right? But she, like, never speaks it in the game. But they're using a Japanese voice actor to act Shion, right? So she's going to have an accent that the character wouldn't have canonically. So you see that public des. Steal the show. So I'm not going to do the translation here. So because what sucks is because the actual game is on the Switch, I can't put my cursor in the game and capture the cursor with, like, I have to hit the translate button, OCR it, before I can put my cursor on it in the OCR window. So if I don't translate something with the OCR, I can't put a cursor on it. But it's show in katakana, O, the object particle, and then a kanji, and then mu, right? Which I presume is like dictionary form of some sort of verb, which if you were to write in like a polite way would be that kanji, then mimas. I just now learned that kanji right there means to steal. So, thanks Shion, or thanks Tomoya.
注目を浴びるです。
Or maybe she corrects him. What's it correct him to? It is to attract a lot of attention. Okay, so she's explaining the idiom. So, Tomoya said what's true. He's literally the literal steal, and then she's saying what the idiom means. How would you translate this? Like, if you were a Japanese person and you're asked to say what steal the show means, would you write literally show o steal, or would you write attract a lot of attention? If I were a translator, translating get something written in English into Japanese, where the word steal the show was used, the expression steal the show was used, I would just literally translate steal the show. Because I always do literal translations. That's what I want as a reader, is literal translations of what the author wrote. And if I need to get some cultural education to understand what the idioms are, I'll just get that, right? And that, as I've already mentioned, has to do with first thing I think of when I think of translating things is the Bible. And you always want to literally translate the Bible. You don't switch the idioms in the Bible, right? And kind of as a result, a lot of idioms in English, like, you wouldn't even lift a finger and so on, actually come from the Bible. They're translated idioms. Anyway. What does Tomoya say? I think I accidentally bumped it into the next line. Could it be that they're a huge nuisance? No. Yes, but that's not specific enough. Right? It's a specific kind of nuisance where everyone's paying attention to you, where you would expect them to pay attention to someone else, right? Like if it's a wedding and everybody's paying attention to somebody besides the bride and groom, we would say that that person stole the show. Crap, I said it out loud without thinking. Oh, so it really just said like an I in there? I thought he said like there was a pronoun insertion. Like he said just that the person is a huge nuisance? But it looks like you literally just said, you mean I am a huge nuisance? I immediately covered my mouth. But to put it bluntly, there was no way she wouldn't hear it.
そう思われますか?
So, do you have do you think so? Waremasu ka? Huh. Interesting. I reply calmly. It's pretty embarrassing for me to say that. No, I'm only asking questions. I'm the only one asking questions? That's a weird way to say it. I answer honestly with the intent of opposing each other. Opposing? You mean counteracting? Answer honestly even though I was contradicting myself. Oh, okay. And then...
党員とは何のことでしょうか?
What do you mean by towing? I don't know. What does towing mean? Instantly, she asked a question. Maybe she was trying to be considerate? Whatever the case, I can't give the wrong answer here. Sorewa, which is that. That is... Let me see if I can guess the right one. I don't know. He's gonna tell me the right answer, but a rhyme method where the head of a word or phrase is matched to the same sound. So like, not really a rhyme method, more like a alliteration. A revised version, something about Chinese rhyme. Okay. People who belong to one of many political parties. Look at the backlog. Thanks. Doin. Towing. 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 It's not political parties. I honestly don't know. It's either something. It's probably not the third one. Because it's probably one supposed to be a distractor, right? So the two that are about rhyme schemes are probably the ones that are more likely to be correct. I'm going to take a wild guess. I'm going to guess the middle one. But the game's going to give me the answer. Well, I was wrong about being one of the ones about rhymes, but it's the top one. So, same sound at the beginning of the sentence, I guess. The beginning of each line. Futami-san studying classical literature. Is that classical, you mean like Roman and Greco-Roman, or do you mean like Japanese? Because classical to me, classical studies means Greek and Rome, Greece and Rome. It's a technique where the head of a phrase is tuned to the same sound. That's what it means to have a head on your shoulders. What? What's a Google Translate say about that? Are you making a pun? That's what alliteration is. Okay. So it's not that's what you mean by having a head, that's what alliteration is. Wait, so towing is Japanese for alliteration? Towing. No, they're just saying hospital. Interesting. They're not spelling it right. I didn't think hospital was towing. Hospital was like shoe something. Oh no, it'll take me a while to look it up. Like coing. No, coing is something with police. Come on. No, Byoin is a hospital. Okay.
Hisa kata no hikari no dokeki. なるほど。ひとひということですね。
Okay, she says, Hisataka no haikaki no koki, no doki. I see. You mean he and he. So, hisatakata no hikari no, yeah. It's the repeated use of he.
それではこの隠るというのは
So, what is kakuru? Kakuru. I don't know what kakuru is. Maybe I should put in Google Translate. Kakuru. To hide. Well, let's see if that makes sense in the context of either of these two answers. It stands out. Okay, that's the opposite. So it's not a stands out. I'm going to guess the bottom answer because kakuru means to hide according to Google Translate. So it can't be stands out. It has to be the opposite of stands out. Got it. Who wrote Kakeru?
ミカードですけれど。
Mikado Deskerodo. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna go back to the backlog. So what was Toin? It just didn't work. Yeah, if I tried to Google Translate that, it would not say alliteration. It would say something to do with a hospital, which is really weird. Okay. Mikado. In that case, that means that the emperor is dead. It can be read as hiding, but it means something else. Okay, so you're saying hiding is a euphemism for dead.
そうでしたか。これで意味が通じました。
So, so deshtaka is, was that so? Right? I don't know what the second part is. Now I understand what you mean.
もう一つ伺いたいのですが、ベッシーの意味は何でしょうか。
I'd like to ask you another question. What does beshi mean? Beshi. It doesn't, Google Translate doesn't help me. But it's pronounced Beishi, if you're wondering. Oh, you're not going to give me a choice this time? Okay, we're just going to go. Ne. Let's see, what's Tomoya say? I'm pretty sure that there are 7 of them. Estimates, wills, possible, of course, others, random. What's the last one? I think Google Translate would help here, because it's getting the right kanji, but it's not like translating them in a list individually. Possibility, natural, command, random. It's something to do with fate or something? I don't know, something to do with listing things that have to do with fate. Is what my guess is. Oh, no. Okay, let me Google something. List of 7 beshi. See if it gives me an answer. Beshi Osomatsu Wiki. No. The list of 7. No, by Mark Frost. Nothing's going to help me now. I'm really on my own. I have no idea what's going on. So it's a list of 7 things. I chose to pick the 7th thing. But the first 6 all have to do with some sort of fate idea, right? Possibilities. Undecided. Planned. Hypothetical. Planned, I think, is the last one. Because it's describing how events would come to pass, right? They would be possible, natural, commanded, random. Like hypothetical, it's not a way for something to come to pass, right? It didn't happen if it's hypothetical. Plan is a way if it comes to pass, and then undecided is like, it's got to be planned. But let me, so I'm going to guess it's the middle one. The game's going to give me the answer, though, because it gives me the answer. It gives me these hints. I was right. I thought it was planned, but
予定ですか。なるほど。よくわかりました。
Well, I don't know what the Naruhoto means in the middle, but planned desu ka, which is planned, is it? Naruhodo, and then yoku, which is often, watarimashita, understood. Like, I often understood. Let's hit to translate on that. Okay, so Haruhoto is I see. I understand yoku, which I guess is being used as a noun in this case, in this context.
それにいたしましても、三上くんは随分勉強なさっているのですね。
Mikami-kun, you were studying a lot, aren't you? No, that's not true. I just happen to know that by chance. I'm pretty sure that there's an easy way to remember it. Okay. Suika to me teo. Let's try Google Translate because that got all mixed up. It is good to remember. That is what the classical text said, I believe. So, suika tome teyo, they couldn't really translate. The machine translators choked on it. Shut it up is what the offline one said, and Google Translate says, give me a watermelon. So it's like, so give me a watermelon. It's good to remember, give me a watermelon. It's what the classical text said or something.
スイカですか。
Suika desu ka, which is, so Suiyobi is Wednesday, which I forget what that is. Watermelon. Google Translate is still making it watermelon, though. If I knew Japanese better, I could figure that out, what the sui was all talking about. No, I'm just looking at the sound of your head. Telling you it's not the rhyme from earlier. See, it's the sound of your head. Okay, what's Google Translate say? Oh. Sui kato me teyo. It's like there's a rhyme scheme. Oh, I get it. He's like doing kind of like a mnemonic device. That's the 7. Oh, okay. It's like Elemento, right? It's the alliteration from earlier. If you just think of it as Sui kato me te yo, then you can remember it. Okay, so that's not a word. It's a mnemonic device. Even though mnemonic devices work better when they're words.
なるほど。よくわかりました。これなら忘れません。
I see. I understand. I will not forget this. Convinced, I turned my face to the desk again. I managed to answer her questions, but the radiant voice I knew really saved me. I wouldn't be able to look at math the day she asked me that. Okay, let's go translate, I have to say. The day someone asked me about mathematics, I can't even look at it. It will come. The day will come. You disgrace me, fictional character. Sorry, I dropped my pin. I had to grab it. I didn't have to because I wasn't going to use my pin during Let's Play, I think. Maybe. Sometimes I use a pin. Feeling indebted to Shion, but it's just the last name he's probably using here. I don't know what the last name is. In this context. I sat down at my desk in the same way. We don't get a CG for this though, like we did for Kaoru. It was time for us to meet quietly. Well, this is the hour symbol. What do you mean? Quiet time. Before I knew it, the time I thought I was was flowing slowly, had passed in the blink of an eye. I'm tired.
はい。
Yes. Yes, you are tired. Futami-san raises her head at the words that stretch out. You don't have to react to every little thing. Do you usually not study, Futami-san?
はい。読みたい本がたくさんありますから。
Hi, which is yes. Yomi tai honga. Takusan. Arimaskara. What's Taksan? I'll just put the translator. This should be an easy sentence. This is an easy sentence, by the way, if you didn't. This is an easy sentence to know for an amateur Japanese speaker, but I just don't. Yes, there are many books I want to read. So I guess Taksan is like mini, right? So yomitai is want to read. Hon is books. Ga is particles for like the book, but like ga allows for like an expansion. So it's kind of like the subject, but it's kind of like introducing something new as the subject. And then taksan, I suppose, is a lot of. Arimas is to have, and then kara is because. So it's like, because I have many books, want to read. Even if there are a lot of books you want to read, you won't be told anything without studying. Or they won't be able to tell you anything without studying. Is that what he's trying to say?
父はあまりうちにいません。
Okay, so Chichiwa, that's my dad. Amari, what's Amari? Is not often, right? So my dad does not often do something, or my dad rarely does something. Let's see, I don't know what it is though. Let me translate and see what her dad rarely does. Okay, my dad is rarely home. Okay, what brought that on? Sodata. That's right. Her father is a famous pick excavator. What does Google Translate have to say? Was a famous, probably actor or something. There's no way such busy parents would always be at home. I was starting to feel disgusted at my lack of consideration for her, going out of her way to do something that reminded her of her relatives. But how'd you do that, though? How'd you remind her of her relatives? By studying with her? I don't get it, Tomoya. What'd you do wrong here? How'd you remind her of her father? A comment about books? I don't get it. So, that Sono is like that. She fell completely silent. Let's start by looking back on the other stories. No sa, which I guess is like that.
大丈夫です。
I'm okay. I immediately understood. Stretch. I couldn't immediately process what she was saying, okay?
大丈夫なんです。
Daijoubu nan desu. So, like, what is okay? Oh, it's okay. This time, her tone was somewhat clearer than before. But I don't have a clue what's a daijoubu. Exactly. What is it that is okay? What do you mean by that?
私は転校することが多いですから。
Because I transfer a lot.
転校が多いといくら学んでも全て無意味なものとなってしまいます。
If you transfer a lot, no matter how much you learn, everything becomes meaningless. Because you can't build on it, it's just all scattered and disjointed. Indeed, due to her parents' work, she had been forced to transfer schools many times. That, too, was a great journey between countries. There's no way I'd be able to study calmly in a life like that. It means she's going to be hard to hold on to if you try to start a relationship with her. Well, I'll be leaving soon anyway. So, are you okay with that? She gave a small, silent nod. It's true that I can read books anywhere. You can read books anywhere in the world. Oh. Having time to read would also lead to the radiance of being able to gain knowledge at a pace like that. But isn't that just too lonely? Books are great, but I'm still worried about tests if I don't study.
はい。
Yes. Besides, I'm not transferring schools right now. Or you're not. One or the other. Shion's silence. I wonder what kind of face I'm making right now, probably, right? It's probably I wonder how I look to Futami-san right now. She looked like a doll as she stood there without saying a word, without letting her emotion show. Are you transferring schools again? Maybe that was a question I shouldn't have asked. But if I don't ask, I'm sure I'll regret it.
それはわかりません。親の都合もありますから。
I don't know. My parents have their reasons. So, ka? He's like, that's so? Because my parents have their reasons. The debt of gratitude naturally leaked out due to the cheap coating. All of a sudden, the school had become a strange conversation. I couldn't stop but think that she would be transferring schools again. I don't want to experience this sudden farewell ever again. Run away with me! I wonder if that strong will reached Futami-san too. Anyway, even if we don't know what's going to happen at this point, Futami-san is in this city right now. Now I think about it, I can relax a little. I hope we can stay together forever. Whoa. That's on the nose. I hope we're together forever. I hope we can stay together forever. Oh, I hope I can stay forever. Or... Okay, so the top one is like, I hope you can stay here at this school forever. The bottom one is like, I hope we can be together forever. So the bottom one is way more aggressive. Because I believe the top one is tying to a place, the bottom one is tying to him. Let's see if she likes the bottom one. No, she doesn't. What's the... Huh, interesting. Well, pick the top one because that's supposed to be the right answer, but I don't really know the difference quite. I hope you can stay here forever.
Eh?
Eh? So she doesn't like aggressive, apparently. The words that came out of my mouth without thinking seemed to have confused her more than I had expected.
それはどういう意味でしょうか?
Well, what do you mean by that? See, since you're studying like this, I thought it would be nice if you could stay as long as possible.
そうですね.
It is so, isn't it? Saying that, she fell silent again. Naniya. I wonder what I'm doing. Being swept up. Before I knew it, I was closing time for this library as well. Semisonic suddenly comes to mind. Several students stood up in response to the sound of the bell, and it was finally time for the break in this library as well. After school, there's a bell. It is time.
はい。
Yes. When I looked up, her expression had already returned to normal. I'll walk you home. Walk. Take yo.
いいえ、結構です。
And then she says, no. Thank you. See what Google Translate does here. No, that's fine. Swing and a miss. I mean, the sun's already setting, so it's dangerous to walk home alone at night. Nice try, Tomoya. The evening dawn of the autumn moon is beginning to paint the area in darkness, as if urging the sun to set. This is Japan! Here in the United States, I never felt this idea. You go, that's because you're a man. It's like, yeah, but men can still get shaked. Just less. When winter comes, that speed will increase even more. Yes, the days get shorter. I want you to take my advice. And if you walk home with the girl, it's usually, Tomoya, not because you're worried that she'll end up in some trouble. It's because you want to walk home with her. But if you really think that way,
わかりました。
I
いえ、
understood.
結構です。私の仕事ですから。
Just like that, she went to the rental counter by herself, but I missed the previous line. She says, Watari mashika, which is like understood. And then Tomoya responds with, well then, shall I help you clean up? And then she says, no thank you, it's my job. She goes to the rental counter. In the meantime, I decided to clean up the area around the desk I was using. I shoved my textbooks and writing books into my bag. Workbooks is what they meant, right? Yeah, and the chairs are neatly lined up.
終わりました。
It's over. She has like books in her sprite. Okay, it's yeah, some sort of like expression. The only turn to, I'm at a loss for words. She had as many books as she had shown me on the way here. Yes, she had interchanged some. I won't say anything. Could it be? Here's the thing, could it be gives you probably more plot information, but you may not like it. Okay, I go for more plot. Oops. I literally have like the translation capture, the OCR capture thing on top of OBS. So I sit up accidentally sliding around OBS sometimes. Could it be that you're taking all of them home with you?
はい。持ち帰ります。
Hi, yes. I'll take them home. Okay. Saraito. She says it so casually. But they're heavy though, right? Do you really understand what you're saying? No matter how you look at it, it was an impossible amount to describe. In addition to this, I'm pretty sure there's a book of my own. Oh, she accidentally took one of your books. I wonder how many dozens of them there are in total. I'll pass. What does that mean? Maybe it's a domain I shouldn't touch. I covertly wipe away a band of sweat running down my forehead. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. So, are you going to read all that?
はい。
Yes. Okay, well,
今日です。
today. Everything by the end of today?
はい。
Yes. Absorption of knowledge. Yes, yes, I'm saying it casually. She's saying it casually, but I wish she would think about it carefully before replying. Come on. Oh, the OCR is like stuck. Will she really be able to read all today? No, more importantly, we're in the middle of the test period right now. Isn't it a little different to read a book rather than study? Can I stay in the dark for a bit? That's incorrect. Can you listen for a bit? Would be, so listen. Listen, grab the kanji, and then put it in while I'm working on it. Can I ask you something? Okay, so this is can I ask you something?
どうぞ。
Dozo is kind of like shh, domo and dozo, kind of like please, right? Let me translate. Hit the. Okay, go ahead. How long do you think it'll take to read one of them? I pointed to the most likely book to shoot out of all the books she was carrying and asked.
これは英語で読んだことがありますから、30分ほどで読めます。
30 minutes. I've read this in English, so I can read it in about 30 minutes. This time I'm completely lost for words. It looks like a 5-centimeter book by eye. How thick is Mr. Thorne and Wheeler? It isn't a whole lot of words per page, but imagine reading that in 30 minutes. War and Peace, 30 minutes. The Brothers Karamazov, 30 minutes. I know those are both Russian, but both by Russian people, two different Russian authors. More Tolstoy, Anna Karenina, 30 minutes. The Bible, my personal Bible is much thinner than 5 centimeters. It's about 1.5 centimeters. It's kind of thin pages and small print, but I have really, really, really good eyes, and so I can see really far away and also see really fine print. It doesn't bother me. Imagine, that's less than 5 centimeters, a lot less. Imagine reading the Bible in 30 minutes. You would not finish Isaiah in 30 minutes. You would not finish half of Isaiah in 30 minutes. Can you read a book that thick in only 30 minutes or so? It's a question of whether or not I can read it in 3 days. So how long does it take for Shion to play Memories Off, then?
どうかなさいましたか?
Is something the matter? いや、なんでも。No, it's nothing. It's like, but nothing. But what? By the time she called me back, who was a little dazed, she had all the books in the background. Or all the books in her backpack, in her bag. Feeling a little absent-minded, but when I called back, all the books had been put into her bag, probably. I mean, Google Translate says my bag, but it's probably not my bag. Alright, that. But the textbooks are still out. What about the textbooks?
これ以上は重いので置いていきます。
Any more than this is heavy. So, it'll be fine, basically. But what about the studying for the test? Testo binkyou wa.
先ほどご一緒されていましたが、
You were with me earlier. Yeah, that's not what I meant. She replies in a strange way, and I'm a little confused about how to respond. She didn't study to study, she studied to be with you. I guess I'll have to get straight to the point. Aren't you going home to study?
しません。
I am not. I will not. Basically. Shimas, it's like shimas, the dictionary form being suru, I think, means to do. So, you know, like, benkyou o shimasu is to study. Shimasen, masen is negation. So shimasen is I will not do. Shimasen te, like, you really, you won't? It was plain and simple. I'm used to it by now, but isn't what you're saying dangerous? Could it be that is the end of your studies?
はい。
Yes. I thought we'd only spent 2 hours studying, but... Wait a minute. Isn't there something wrong with that? Something that could be called a hunch. A bit of my brain, as if it had been swung down. Think hard about it. I'll put that to Google Translate and try to get that extra hey there turned back into a squiggle. Think about it carefully. Okay? We're going to Sherlock Holmes this. Have you ever seen her act like she's studying until today? At the very least, I don't want to see it. It's probably at the very least I haven't seen it. At least I didn't see it. So that's all the studying she would have done, right? Yep. I'm afraid to ask her directly, but if I don't ask, I won't be able to find the truth. I made up my mind and asked her. Don't tell me. Yesterday also.
はい。
Yes. Oh, I knew it. Who said you were going home to study? Wait, it's me. But geniuses really do exist. Represent! I started to feel stupid for taking this seriously. No, I'm not really taking this seriously, but... Hey, just so you know, you should study at home too, you know?
今勉強していることでは何か問題があるのでしょうか。
Is there a problem with what you're... with us just... what we're studying right now? Let's see here. Is there a problem with what I'm studying now? Or how I'm studying now? One or the other? There's no question about what I'm studying right now, but by studying it after I get home, I might be able to aim for an unexpected increase in my score, right?
そうでしょうか。
Do you think so? That is how it is. I'm going to shade a shirt. Wow, my speech part of my brain like glitched out. Sure. I made sure to say it to her since she didn't really understand.
わかりました。はいに命じておきます。
I understood, and then I'll order your lungs. What is that supposed to say? I'll tell my lungs to do it. I think that might be correct. I'll keep that in mind. It's like I'll tell my body to do it. I think this hopeless exchange is probably the primary reason why I'm buying so much from everyone around me. If I were always in the library picking things up like this, I'd probably get kicked out just for that.
三上くん、下校時刻は過ぎています。早く帰りましょう。
Okay, Mikami-kun. It's past time to go home. Let us hurry home. Sodana. It's like, it is so. For some reason, she's showing me her own base. Okay, I don't know what this kind of means by that, but sure. My pace. My pace is okay. So it says like my pace spelled out in katakana. I don't think the translators really get that. Yeah, because it gets the detent wrong. Okay. Let me type this Japanese kana. Replace Google Translate the be with the pe. She shows me that she's quite at her own pace. There we go. For some reason, she shows me that she's quite at her own pace. Or my pace. Or something to do with pace of something. But right now, I didn't want her to see me like that. I follow Futami-san as she walked ahead of me and leaves the library, which is getting even darker. The evening sky tells me at this school festival, which is getting colder and colder. Or something about it's already autumn. Probably not festival, it's like season.
どうかしましたか?
どうかしましたか? How is something? I forget. Oh, is something wrong? I thought it was getting pretty cold.
そうですね。
It is, isn't it? Which is how you respond to that. Come on, translator. Sorewa. That is, such a trivial conversation was exchanged one by one. Well, even though it wasn't every time, I noticed that her expression had changed in detail as well. Has something changed? Neither of us could see any change in the other, but for some reason, it felt that way.
三上くん、
Mikami-kun. She suddenly turns around and talks to me, making my heart skip a beat. Little by little, Futami-san changes. She's like that?
この辺りに お侍はいらっしゃいますか？
Is there a samurai around here? Is this referring to the cat? Huh? A deep silence fell over the area. Those words were enough to freeze even those around us. But there aren't any. What is that? Her way of making jokes? Well, you say watarimasen deshita, which is I did not understand. The unexpected words come out of her image, and I'm a little confused myself. But Futama-san herself is looking at me with her usual calm expression. Yeah, the problem is I don't know if they translated it right, but it's supposed to be something weird. But it could be a different thing that's weird. Is there a samurai around here? I don't think she said that on purpose, but... I don't think he's around here. I couldn't help but reply as if I'd admitted it.
そうですか。
Is that so? Whew. I couldn't help but feel indebted to her for being so small. What? I mean, we do see small. I feel grateful for such a small thing. There you go.
留学先の友達から、ぜひ写真を撮って送ってほしいと言われていたのですが、とても残念です。
A friend of mine asked me to take a picture and send it to me. Send it to him. But it's very unfortunate. Wait, a friend of hers asked her to take a picture and send it to them. A picture of a samurai? Did your friend ask you to take a picture?
はい。
Yes. I see, that's why. For some reason, I think I understand why Futami-san wants to do something like about it. Samurai, huh? Yeah, it's samurai spelled out in katakana. A picture of a samurai? Wait. Which means she has friends. What is this? She's always alone, so I was pretty worried. Wait a minute. I noticed something strange again. I'm saying she has friends who study abroad, so why doesn't she talk to anyone around me at school? I guess she has friends when she studies abroad, but why doesn't she talk to anybody at my school? I made friends at the other school, and I can make friends if she made friends at the other school, then she can make friends at this one. Or why can't she make friends at this one? Because the other school is the United States, right? It's true that Futami-san might be floating to the people around her, but there must be a daughter somewhere who'll still be her friend. You mean girl? Futami-san may seem like an outcast to those around her, but there's bound to be a girl out there somewhere who will still be her friend. if she still doesn't talk to anyone, that means...
着きましたよ。
We are here. Before I knew it, we had arrived at the station. I can't. I'm completely lost in thought, and it seems I left her alone. Ikankan. I feel like I took care of you pretty quickly.
そうでしょうか。
You think so? Let's walk a little slower next time.
はい。
Yes. I decided to step away from that question for a while as the answer I'd eventually come to. The question of why does she not have friends here if she had friends there? By the way, where do you live, Futami-san?
私は、
The station she mentioned was right in front of the one of the Ayakoka station I was using. It's not like I can't go to her house, but I don't want to go out of my way. It's not like I can't go to her house, but I don't want to go out of my way. Okay. He doesn't? I see. I'm in Kagwaka, so we can go home together part of the way.
はい。
Yes. She nods nonchalantly and expressionlessly. Don't tell me she doesn't like it. If you don't want to, I won't force you to say... Well, they're both going to be on the same train, so it's kind of weird. Force you to go together or whatever.
そんなことありません。
That is not true. Yeah, even if you say so. If she responded so expressionlessly, I'd be curious. Or if she hadn't. Because she was saying that so expressionlessly, I was curious. Her attitude seems to reject everything. And there's nothing I can do about it. Ja, let's do it together.
はい。
Isho ni, right? Ja, isho ni. She says yes. She responds to my hesitant words with the same words again. This is what it's like to talk to me on the phone, by the way. If you call me on the phone, and you're like, so, blah, 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 I go, yes. Blah, 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 yes. Like, well, say something to me. Be friendly. Yes. Oh. We boarded the same train together. No, not the train noise. The frost carriage in the evening. The frost carriage? You mean the train? I created a situation where we weren't allowed to talk. Huh? One station to another, and the train passes by the station on time.
次、降ります。
I'm getting off next. Before I knew it, we were almost at the station where Futami-san lived. I'll see you tomorrow. Also, I think you should study a little, even though you might be a foodie. Even though you might not have to, right? What is foodie, offline translator? Although it may be about serving food. Something about Miss Mosiard.
そうですね。
It is, isn't it? Did you just Sodesne me? The train reaches the station. Once it had slowed down a little and completely settled into the station platform, the door swung open.
それでは、ごきげんよう。
Well then. Good day. Goki genyo. I don't know that expression. The salary man next to us tilted his head when he heard our exchange, but that didn't bother me or him or whatever. Shion Futami. She really is a mysterious girl. I try lightly sipping ramen for dinner. Instant noodles really do make me feel even more lonely. They do, don't they? Except I've never actually eaten instant noodles. I've completely avoided that my entire life. But then also I've never eaten sushi. Not even the rolls. So, there's a lot of foods I managed to just never tried because I just... Well, I think sushi, my dad was afraid of like parasites or something. But it's just I never like bothered to try it. I never eaten natto either because I just never bothered to try it. The variety of show on TV feels kind of boring too. Variety show. Why? The only variety show I know of is the Star Wars Holiday Special. So that's what the representation of a variety show is in my mind. The dorm. That's not, you mean studying, right? Time to study. Yes, I would agree that studying is better, is more fun. I'd rather study than watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. I lay down on the bed, curled up in the sheets, and rolled over. I had a lot to think about. For example, about Futami-san. Why isn't she surrounded by people? Is everyone avoiding her? Or maybe she's trying to keep others at bay. Even if that's the case, my existence will be a shield. Huh? Either way, I can only assume she has a rather unusual personality. At the very least, if I can become friends with Futami-san within this test period. While I was lost in thought, my sleep timer finally told me that I was at my limit. Oh, good night. I completely forgot about tomorrow's test and buried my face in my pillow like I was dreaming. The 16th. The second day of tests ended without incident. I was a little confident today, unlike yesterday. My phone is ringing. Okay, I'm back. That was my dad, and that was actually kind of important. Well, yesterday's study session was working. Okay, so you mean yesterday's study session worked? You managed to guess what the test questions were rather well. Thanks to Futami-san, I managed to speak English. I don't know if speak's the right, but I know what they mean here. The other subjects had relatively many choice problems. Or, you mean multiple choice questions. So I used my secret technique to get through them. What's your secret technique? Always pick C? No, it's not really a secret technique, but yeah, so it's multiple choice. You can like use meta-analysis often to figure out the answer to the question. You can sort of read the person's mind who's made the test rather easily. It helps you out. I think that's what he's talking about. That's not right. sai no eyes mo are also kind of, what does Google Translate say? Yes, the dice rolls too. Yeah, it's like, if you, if all else fails, you have absolutely no idea, nowhere, nothing to go on, pick B or C. So you get 50-50 B or C out of it. If there's all of the above, it's often likely correct. Yes, if at least two are correct, you know it's all of the above, because if it weren't, yeah, all that stuff. It's all up to you. I stuffed the problem sheet into my bag, just like yesterday. As I'm getting ready to go home in a good mood, I hear someone next to me call out to me reproachfully. I guess that means like in criticism. With a grudge. Okay, so this is you, eh?
三上くん、今日のテストどうだった？
Nope, it's Kaoru. And basically it's like, how did the test today go? Mikami-kun, how did the test today go? Where was the wind blowing yesterday's composure? It was a transfer student next to me, Otawa-san. Well, I guess that's how it works. What about you, Otawa-san? My life is over. She slumped her shoulders, looking even sadder. Come on, translate. Yeah, this is the problem. It's you being one of the girls, right? You only have one boy you can study with. But I, being the protag, can study with all the girls. So I just choose I have like, each girl is good at something, and so I just study with that girl before I take the test in that. Yeah! That's generally not how this works in real life. Generally, that's the opposite way between the sexes. Looks like a pretty harsh result. Well, what's with the test? If you think of it as a luck of the draw, right? Well, if it's straight on a curve, that compensates for you get at least 25% thing. I took a class in high school called auto mechanics. And the other students in the class, I was like, the person taking college classes in high school. Like, sometimes literally college classes, not just like AP, right? And I was taking this class, but the vast majority of this class, as in everybody but me, were the people that would get D's in everything. And so it made the class really, really difficult to run. There was very little structure. The students would just not even try on anything. Some of the students on the midterms and finals would get results that were worse than if you just picked random answers for each question. It's like, how did you do that? Well, likely because you picked random answers from each question, and because it's let's say it's a random process, which means you can sometimes get over 25 and under 25. So, they're just getting under 25. You would think you'd be able to use some sort of brain to at least reduce the 1 out of 4 to a 1 out of 3 in each one, right? And then get the 33. Or get 33 with the probabilistic jitter and make it over 25. You wouldn't literally pick random, completely random for every one of them. But yeah, they would do that, and they'd throw the towel utterly and actually get worse.
時の運でテストが乗り切れるんだったら、ほんと最高だよ。
I will say the tests were pretty hard, though. Like, I would get like a 75 on them. So, yeah. Of course, that was the highest score in the class, and because the tests were only a certain portion, get the curves and whatever, then that was an A plus somehow, but whatever. Well, translate. I probably skipped that line. If you can't make it through the test by luck, then it really is the best. What? Well, if I can pass the test just by luck, I'll be really lucky. Yeah, sorry, you don't have that protag energy. Where sometimes literally they're lucky, but oftentimes they're not actually lucky, but they have this chosen one complex, which is kind of like pseudo luck. And sometimes can be mistaken for luck. Whoops. No, I don't want auto. Okay. How am I supposed to explain it now that I've made it through? Well, do you know if you did well or not? Because it was so heavy, I could faintly hear her indebtedness. I could almost feel an atmosphere here as well. I don't think indebtedness is right. It's like her apology. It's already over for today, so I have to think about tomorrow. Look, there's still tomorrow.
そうだよね。それじゃあ、お先に。
You're right. Well then, I'll see you later. She stood up with her bag in hand and walked fra out of the classroom, which is like staggering, I guess. Her steps were by no means light. Well, judging from the way she was acting yesterday, I figured she'd be able to study for a certain extent. Could it be that there's a problem? She didn't learn? Just happened to be the wrong thing on the test? There were problems like reviewing the week of, and since we'd only just moved here, there were problems that were reviewing the first week. And since she'd only just moved here, she probably wouldn't know what was going on. But they would be in the book, though. All I can say is that the time when I transferred here was bad, where she transferred here was bad. So contrary to yesterday's expectations, it might be a harsh subject for Otawa-san this time. There's no way I'll be able to close the gap in class content in such a short period of time. And even I've studied the scope of the exams, it's only a matter of time. What? But she didn't explain it like that, though. The thing with girls, they don't explain things. Even so, we have to get through this somehow. Not all girls. Don't assume if someone's a girl they won't explain things, but... Well, I'm supposed to be in an easier position than her. But I have the same suk. Even though I'm supposed to be in a more comfortable position than her, I can say the same thing. I guess I'll study for tomorrow too. I leave my seat with my bag, and just as I reach the entrance of the classroom, the girl compares my pace to hers, dressed as if she just arrived. Huh. Okay, what's Google Translate have to say about that? Again, it's like someone caught up to you, right? But I approached the entrance of the class and the girl compared my steps as if she had just arrived. I don't know what just arrived. Oh, it's still Kaoru. I thought you went home, Otawa-san. That was Otawa-san herself, who had just parted ways with me. She must have come back in a hurry because she looks a little tired.
疲れた。
Oh, I'm so tired. What's tomorrow? Is it math? I'm waiting for the math test to show up. I mean, we already got to the chemistry one. The chemistry one should be harder than the math one, by all accounts. I guess in Japan is chemistry harder than math. Chemistry not as hard as math? That's weird. Like, what's wrong? Did you come all the way back here?
ちょっと頼みがあるんだけど。
I have a favor to ask you. A favor? Oh no, what's this? The fact that she's completely reverted to her usual tone of voice is impressive.
すっごい簡単なことなんだけど。
Come on. You're captured, but you didn't translate. Yeah, it's really simple, but,
漢文の辞書貸してくれない？
could you lend me a Chinese dictionary? A dictionary, I don't mind. And proceeds to not study for Chinese because he doesn't have his dictionary, but Kaoru does, and he gets shafted. I take out a Chinese dictionary from my desk. Not your bag, apparently. This is gonna happen. You're gonna have to borrow UA's Chinese dictionary. My translator's lagging for some reason. And this is the offline one, so it's my computer that's lagging, not my internet. I don't usually use this dictionary either, so I'm not inferior to other dictionaries. It's not inferior to other dictionaries. No, it's even prettier than that. Yes.
ありがとう。どうしても今日必要なんだよね。
Is she gonna write something in there or leave something in there? It's gonna be interesting. Thanks. I really need it today. Huh? If you need it today, wait. Didn't you have a test in China? Don't you have a test in Chinese tomorrow?
うん、あるね。
Yes, I do. She affirms my words with a smile. So she knew that and asked me to lend it to her? Well, yeah, that's why she went. I don't get what the quandary is. Give it back.
一度貸したのに？
Even though I lent it to you once? But can you give it back to me? Oh, that's the catch.
男らしくないな。
Something about being a man. Come on. That's not very manly of you. Even though you're so sure of yourself?
あ、人聞きの悪いこと言って、貸してくれたのは三上くん本人の手からなんだよ。
Ah, you're making me sound like a creep, Mikami-kun. Lend it to me yourself, you know. You're making me sound like a creep. Mikami-kun lent it to me himself, you know. Huh? Takedo, but...
それじゃあ私と勉強する？
Then would you like to study with me? Wow, with Otawa-san. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, I would do this because I'm trying to do like an Ottawa-san type route. I know if we like turn her down though, we might get Shion, but I'm trying to go for Ottawa-san. So that's my like goal. Study with Ottawa. We might not do very well in the exam if we study with Ottawa, but whatever. I'll pass. Yeah, we're gonna study with Ottawa, but I'll pass might lead to some other thing, right? That's why you might want to do that at some other point, but. Then say I can't turn my back on you. Okay, I'll do it.
じゃあどこか勉強できるところに行こうよ。
Now let's go somewhere we can study. Roger that. Well, I'll have to get ready right away. I crammed the textbooks I needed to study. Of course, I had already stuffed the Chinese dictionary into it. All that's left is to get a reasonable subject. Wait, come to think of it, I forgot one thing. What should we do about the place? What's the place? I turned around and asked her a question. I haven't made up my mind about that yet.
どうしようか。
What should I do? I tilt my head a little as I think. Given the sudden turn of events, there was no way I could think of a good place.
そうだ、駅前のファーストフードはどう？
Festival. That's right, how about fast food in front of the station? So like they're gonna study in like the cafe kind of thing.
落
Like
ち着かな
studying
いけど、
McDonald's.
食べながらでも勉強はできるよ。
Yeah, some people like to do like their work in a Panera Bread. That's a thing in the United States. And then drink a whole bunch of highly caffeinated lemonade. Yes, highly caffeinated lemonade-like things. I won't be able to relax, but I can still study while eating, you know. Yeah, I guess it's better that way.
じゃあそういうことで早速行ってみよう。
Then let's get going. Otawa-san stood up energetically, and I followed suit, holding my bag as well. So we're going to go to a fast food place. Get a new background. The shopping district was bustling with people this weekend, so it felt pretty lively. Students from our school are often seen around here. Even though it's the test period right now, I wonder if she'll still wants to feel like she hasn't had a week until she gets home. What does that mean? No, it's a test right now. It's something like I still want to enjoy the week-long mood until I get home. The mood of this week or something. We made our way through the shopping district in a carefree manner. Yes, there is a new background. Okay. Now then, shall we begin? That means there probably isn't a new CG, because they wouldn't have bothered with a new background if they were going to use a CG instead. Otawa-san murmured her textbook to the table, urging me. Murmured? Okay, I get what it's supposed to say, so I won't bother too much with it. I took the textbooks out of my bag and got ready to study right away. That's how we started studying for our tests. Oh, did I accidentally hit translate by reflex? This author is lazy. Come on. I could faintly hear the chatter around me, but that wasn't an option right now. I put on my headphones and listened to the light tempo music as I immersed myself in studying. I find that the best kind of music for studying is some really chunky metal, like some thrash metal, but that you've listened to a whole bunch of times already and you're tired of. Old, worn out, tired thrash metal is the best music for studying. You don't want to listen to something that's like new, because you'll get all interested in trying in it because it's new to you. Stuff like art music, like what they call classical music, which is, yes, a misnomer, but symphonies and stuff like that, I start to pay attention to them too much. And what's going on in there, thinking about me writing my own symphony or whatever nonsense. And so it doesn't really work. It'll distract me too much. It doesn't work the best. So, there you go, metal. But it's got to be, you've listened to it a bunch. You got to be tired out metal. If anything were to happen, I'm sure she'd tell me by hand. Also, pop music, I hate it. That's why I don't know. I don't hype pop music for it because it's popular. I don't hate the melodies and the techniques and the production and whatever. I don't like it because I don't like the lyrics. Thanks to that, I can focus on my studies without worrying about anything. And so, for a few hours, we continued studying without any problems. And then, I decided to actually write something. As in, the author of this scene decided to actually write something. And decided to justify the scene's existence.
ね、三上くん。
Okay. Hey, Mikami-kun. I removed my earphones, spelled out in katakana, iyahon, and took a listening stance. Like, turn that ear in, kind of look. As far as I can tell, she doesn't seem to be stuck studying. Maybe it's like a day off. What?
三上くんってこういう場所によく立ち寄ったりする？
Do you stop by places like this often, Mikami-kun? Huh? No, he doesn't. Only when Shin makes him do it.
私のいたところじゃこういうお店ってあんまりなかったからそれで。
There weren't many shops like this back where I lived, so, What is she so flustered about? Otawa-san asked me about the fact that it was nothing, as if she didn't want to look bad. Okay, yeah, it doesn't really translate it right, but it looks like, it's kind of like as if she, like, counted down in her head to be like, you're going to talk to him, you're going to ask them this pre-scripted question when I get to 0. Go! That kind of feeling, right? Well, I guess it's just that I stop by when I'm with her, with you. I sometimes use... this on the way home from school when I'm running out of time.
へえ、そうなんだ。
I see. Tawa-san seemed to be thinking about something as she agreed. I have absolutely no idea what she's thinking.
あ、じゃあ、誰かと一緒の場合が多いとか？
So, you're with someone a lot? If I had to choose, I wouldn't be alone. You? But aren't phone calls from people a nuisance to you? It's true that I don't come to a place like this alone. In fact, I've come here with people I'm relatively close to, like Shin and Yue.
例えば？
It's like who with who, right? Such as. Such as.
一緒に来るような人。この人なんかとはよく来てるよって、そんな人はいないの？
Come on, computer. Someone who'd come to the whole group. Isn't there someone who'd say, you come with this person a lot? She's pursuing it strangely, but well, just because I told her doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. I tried giving names of people who I'd been here with in the past. Well, Shin, Towa, with, yeah. So I come here with Shin often, is basically what he's saying, right? Come here relatively often with Shin.
うんうん。他には？
Okoniwa, which Okuniwa. Anything else? I've been here before with Yue-san.
ゆえって、今坂さん？
Yue te Imakusan. Imasaka-san. It's like, do you come here with other... Yeah, it's this whole, like, weird jealousy thing. Like, she's trying to, like, isolate you. Which is a little, like... It's kind of weird. Do you come here often? Oh, you come here with? Do you have any guy friends? Yeah, my house is close to hers. Well, we're childhood friends, right? That's why we've been here before.
ふーん。
Competition. This time expression changed to one of deep brooding. Oh, no! It's like, here comes the Haley Williams. Today, Otawa-san didn't have much to grasp. What's wrong with you? I want you all for myself. That... So, lady, which is that... My words cut off there. After Yue smiled, the next name that came to mind was her. Was my other childhood friend. Not smiled. After Yue came to mind, the name that came to mind after Yue was another one of my childhood friends. Flash sideways. We're gonna flash.
それに、まだ誰かいるの？
Besides, is someone still here? What? No, I think that's about it. For the most part. Is there someone left? No, that's about it for the most part.
そっか。三上くんって結構人付き合いがいいんだね。
Yeah, another hint. Another hint. She's gone. I see, Mikami-kun. You're pretty good at drinking with people. Well, some kanji got kind of weirded up. Meeting people? That's not true. There are times when I turn down invitations. I only go when I really have time.
じゃあこうして来てるのは？
Well then, why are you here? Because I'm studying and I like you. Well, I guess you're here because you're studying here. You're the one who suggested to do it here in the first place, aren't you, Otawa-san?
それはそうなんだけど。
Getting intense. That's true, but... What's wrong? Am I can't... How do I take these hints? Do you hear about this sudden arrival the other day? What's the sudden arrival? Did you come all of a sudden to ask me if I didn't come?
あ、そろそろ勉強の方に戻ろうか。あともう一踏ん張りしとかないと明日のテストで困っちゃうしね。
Well, let's get back to studying. If we don't keep up our pace, we'll be in trouble for tomorrow's test. Oh, Sodana. For some reason, I was dodged by Toyomi's... Otawa's skillful technique. Otawa-san dropped her gaze to her textbook and resumed studying. After seeing that sequence of emotions, I put on my earphones again and focused on the problems in front of me. We continued to study quietly from now on. Before I knew it, the sky was already turning red.
Are? 三上くんって同じ電車だったんだ。
Mikami-kun was on the same train? Well, looks like it. Just as we passed through the ticket gate and stood on the platform, I noticed the fact that I saw the two of us lined up next to each other.
じゃあ朝も時間が合えば同じ電車に乗ってるかもしれないね。
Then, if we have the time in the morning, we might be on the same train again, right? That may be true, but I don't think that's very common.
なんで？
Why? I don't see you on the train, because the time you usually leave the house is irregular. That's not true. It's something that comes to mind whenever I see my daily life. There's nothing wrong with that. If you look at my daily life, it will inevitably come to mind, okay? Otawa-san was discouraged by the word, but she managed to pull herself together and smile at me.
それじゃ仕方ないか。
Huh, guess there's no helping it then. But if we get the chance, we might be together.
そうだね。
Okay, that is so, isn't it? We waited for the train to arrive while fathering the Jiyashi. While saying such words, we waited for the train to arrive. 17th. Well, this will go all the way to the 30th, or the 31st. We're going through the entire month of October. The test schedule ended without incident, and the classroom was filled with the voices of everyone celebrating the end of the exam. Was math in this section? It was true that getting through the past 3 days had been a difficult task. That's why I'm so happy. Now I get to go to a movie with Yue. Now I can finally sleep peacefully. Without exception, I was basking in that joy. By the way, the first voice of joy I received was, of course, from the girl next to me.
これでやっと終わったね。
It's finally over. Yeah, we'll finally be freed from our days of studying. So won't everyone make a fuss and go home today?
でも補習とかの心配があるじゃない？
But aren't you worried about supplementary lessons? What's that? Probably okay. Probably okay. Or I'm so worried. I'd go for probably okay. I think it's probably fine. There's no way it's not bad. What? There's no such thing as a bad performance. What? Okay. I think so.
一応自己採点しておいた方がいいよ。
You should be grading yourself just in case. Let's see. As we converse, the trust of our best friend and bad friend quickly appears between us. You mean, as we're talking, Shin, my best friend and bad friend, appears between us. Yes.
なんだ二人とも俺に隠れてこそこそ話したりして。
What's with you two? Are you two whispering? Tone? There you are, ears of hell. I nonchalantly try to brace myself. Transient, disgruntled facial expression from Shin. Come on. Translate it. Shin braced himself just like I did, but he quickly came back to his senses and retorted.
誰がだよ。まったく。せっかくこれからテストの打ち上げで遊びに行くから誘ってやろうとしたのに。音羽さんもひどいと思わない？
Who the hell is that? Jeez, I was going to be on my way to invite you to hang out with me at the test launch. Don't you think it's awful too, Otawa-san? What?
そうだね。
It is, isn't it? Right? You're right. What's with the way you're talking?
ごめん。三上くんと稲穂くんっていつもこんな感じでしょ？だから間近で見てるとつい面白くなって。
Sorry. Mikami-kun and Inaho-kun are always like this, aren't they? That's why watching them up close is so interesting.
じゃあそんな音羽さんも一緒に行かない？
Then do you want to come with us, Otawa-san? Wait, you're going to the festival, right? Shin leans forward and makes a suggestion. Whoops. No, don't crop. I guess I shouldn't have expected anything less from him at times like this. He's really used to it. Or she, or he or she.
行くって遊びに？
Going to hang out?
そう実は音羽さんを誘う口実がなかなか浮かばなかったからこの際にと思ってね
Okay. It is so. Actually, I couldn't come up with an excuse to invite Otawa-san, so I figured this would be a good time. Wait a minute, then why did you invite me?
言ったろ口実だって俺は音羽さんを誘えればそれでいいんだよ
I'm trying to matchmake you. I told you, didn't I? It's Nichimi. All I need to do is invite Otawa-san. But that's the wrong thing. Okay. So let me put in Google Translate. And then we take this and replace it with row. I say mouth. Whoops. So I type mouth in here. Then I get that kanji. Then I take that kuchi, right? And then I use that to replace the kanji that means... What? Okay, that's going crazy. That means day in the text. Except I got a bunch of extra junk on my clipboard. So get rid of that. Told you, it's an excuse. As long as I can invite Otawa-san, that's fine. There you go.
どうしようかな。
What should I do?
今ならおまけで友也もつけますよお嬢さん
You turn him down, that's what you do. Because he's not the pro tag. He's the wrong dude. I'll add Tomoya as a bonus now, miss. I was gonna try to humiliate me in front of her. Without missing a beat, Shin flattered Otawa-san. The way she's inviting me gives me a dangerous... He's inviting me gives me a dangerous vibe. Hey, don't give me that condition. I quickly retort. However, she had taken Shin's joke seriously.
三上くんは行かないの？
You're not going, Mikami-kun? This is good. This is actually, it works really well, as you can, reject. You go, nope, I'm not going. And then Otawa-san's like, I'm not going either. And then after Shin leaves, then you go, okay, yeah, we're going to go together. No, it's not with him. No, it's not like I'm not going. Before I can finish my sentence, Shin firmly covers my mouth.
間違いなく行くよむしろ引きずってでも連れて行くつもりだから
I'll definitely go. In fact, I'll drag you along even if I have to. You'll definitely go. This is... I guess I'll just let him go out of his way for me.
だったら別にいいよ。
Then I don't mind. Tawa-san quickly replied with her consent. For a moment, I was bewildered by her honor. Otawa-san... She didn't seem to care about me as I asked in a slightly agitated voice. Someone's got a plan, though. Why are you saying that I'm going... I'll go with you.
でも 女の子が私一人っていうのもちょっと寂しいよね。
But isn't it a little sad that I'm the only girl here?
確かにその問題は考えるべきことだな。それじゃあ、おい、友也。
That problem is definitely something to think about. Well then, hey, Tomoya. Convince Yue. Shin, calmly listening to Otoa-san's words, called out to me. What? Nandayo? Which is, what is it? I guess.
ゆえちゃん誘ってこい。
Go invite Yue-chan. Nani?
ゆえちゃんと幼馴染の間柄であるお前ならそう問題もなく誘えるだろ。
Since you're Yue-chan's childhood friend, you should be able to invite her without any problems, right? But I have we have a beef going on with each other that I created by not picking all her best choices. But I can't agree to Shin's proposal. No, I don't want to. In a situation like this, try laughing. Isn't it going to make my position worse? I don't know.
どういうことだよ。
What do you mean? No, there's also the possibility.
なんだ、嫌に否定的な言い方じゃないか。
What? You're being awfully negative, aren't you? What are you saying? That can't be true.
どうだか。
You don't know? At times like this, my doubtful best friend is so reproachful.
三上くんがそう言うなら、別にまさかさんじゃなくても私は構わないよ。
If you say so, Mikami-kun, I don't mind if it's not, Mikami-kun says so. I don't mind if it's not Mr. Imazaka. I don't care if it's not, I don't know, Miss... basically, I don't care if she doesn't come. Otawa-san, who didn't know how I felt, casually followed up. I'm happy to hear that, but hearing her say that makes me feel guilty. Yue doesn't want to... I really don't want to invite Yue. But I don't want Otawa-san to see me as a jerk, probably. It's translating it to spirit, but that's probably not what it's supposed to be. Maybe like a cheapskate or something. But he doesn't understand that she wants to break him up with Yue. So if he kind of turns doesn't invite Yue, then she'll be happy with that. That's the thing. You don't understand the jealousy. Tomoya. Overwhelmed by those feelings, the answer I came up with was, go ahead. I'll invite Yue. My answer was to respect the letter.
よし、そう来なくっちゃな。彼女まだ残ってるからすぐ行ってこいよ。
Come on. What is Shin saying? Okay, that's how it has to be. She's still here, so go right now. He points to Yue, who's standing behind me, and urges me on. Yue's just listening to the conversation, going, well, what are you going to do, Tomoya? Just push her out of the way and bring the Empress over. He saw me off with a small wave. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Just push your back and come back after me. Okay, just go invite her and then come back. Carrying the responsibility for voluntarily introducing myself, I head over to Yue. Yue had just finished packing her tools into her bag and was standing up. I approached Yue to call out to her, but on the other hand, she called out to me.
どうしたのともちゃん。
What's wrong, Tomo-chan? She looked at me blankly. I don't know how to invite her. Guess I'll just get to the point and see how Yue laughs. I'm thinking of taking Shin and Atoa-san somewhere to hang out. If you don't mind, I was wondering if you could hang out too.
行きたいとは思うんだけど。
What you say? I'd like to go, but do you need something? This is where I lose her plot line.
ちょっとね。
Wait a minute. Yeah, a little. Oh, a little. I don't mind if you do. Yeah, you're right. If you don't have something to do, it can't be helped.
あ、なんか嬉しそうな顔してる。
You look kinda happy. Of course not. There's no way that would happen. Even I'm disappointed that you couldn't go with Yue.
なんか怪しいんだよね。
It's kinda suspicious, isn't it? Don't worry about it. Come on. You have something to do, don't you?
あ、もうこんな時間。それじゃともちゃん、またね。
It's already this late. See you later, Tomo-chan. Is that the rejection? Do we get cast out of her route now? Yue laughs as she suddenly rushes out of the classroom. Seeing her from behind, I see her off with a small wave, trying to keep my face from falling. However, there was no way Shin would silently overlook that light cloud. Skaskato. He stumped over to me.
おいおい、ゆえちゃん帰っちゃったぞ。どうしたって言うんだ。
Hey, Yue-chan's gone home. What's wrong? No big deal. She apparently had some business to attend to. That's why she went through there.
なんだそりゃ。
What's that supposed to mean? I can't help it, can I? I just can't. They can't just stop her when she has something to do.
じゃあどうしようか。
Then what should we do?
残念だけど、これは中止ってことになるのかな。
Unfortunately, will this be called off? Tawa-san came over and muttered to herself. Shin was greatly shocked by Otawa's comment.
な、そんなことが許されて。
What? You're allowed to do that? I guess it's fine, probably. As a condition, Yue's existence was brought up, so Tawa-san almost agreed. Now that it's come to this, I don't really need to force myself.
いいわけない。ちくしょう、誰かいないのかよ。
There's no way it's okay. Damn it, is there anyone here? Well, invite Shon. I couldn't help but sympathize a different way with the sight of Shin, who could only be described as pitiful. You seem like the kind of guy who'd be popular even in class, but if I turned the tables a little, he'd find out I was like this. Oh. I can't help but assume that this is the kind of character that two sides of the same coin are so intense. This makes no sense, but I just keep going through it. I feel so sorry for him.
こうなったら誰か暇な女の子探してくる。二人とも先に行っててくれ。
Now that it's come to this, I'll go look for a girl with nothing better to do. You two go on ahead. Aye, Shin. He left the classroom ferociously refusing to listen. Now that I look closely, there are still a few female students in class, aren't there? Are you saying they're not satisfied? Are you saying they are not satisfactory? Something like that. Tawa-san was also dumbfounded by my best friend's strange behavior, which she didn't really understand. It cannot be helped. I'd feel bad if I didn't do exactly what he told me to do before he left. I'm his best friend, so I have to help him act as if it's nothing more than pity. And I have to help him even if it's nothing more than through pity. I bet he'd really bring at least one of them. I think he would probably bring at least one person with him. Well, I waited for Otawa-san until then. She'd probably catch up with me in no time. If I waited for Otawa-san until then, she'd probably catch up with me in no time. What does that mean?
仕方ないね。三上くん、行こうよ。
Oh well. Mikami-kun, let's go! You're right. Let's not talk about Shin. So just gonna for now, I got my bag and ran over to her. So just gonna yep. Since we were in the shopping district earlier, we decided to wander around the area until Shin arrived. Who do you arrive with? We avoided the shopping district near the school, and once we reached the first shopping district, the opulence shifted. The flow of people drags us all the way here. Without resisting the flow, we moved on. We leisurely strolled down the street, leading to the station in the opposite direction, and Otawa-san stopped by the shops under the eaves from time to time. Otawa-san somehow gave me a heartwarming atmosphere like that.
三上くん、これこれ。なんか生物の先生に似てると思わない？
Okay, Mikami-kun, here. Okay, this is it. Don't you think it kind of reminds you of a biology teacher? Yes, reminds you of your biology teacher? Saying that, she points to a strange creature. Buta. No, that's not it. It's more like a wild boar. Resemblance? What kind of animal is this stuffed animal anyway? It's a pig.
アザラシみたいだね。
It looks like Atarashi. A seal? How could you call that a seal? No matter how I look at it, it just looks, well, it doesn't look, it just looks like, no matter how I look at it, it just looks like that. I mean, like a pig? It was that convenient bug-proofing item that I don't know which character it is. Always found in rural summers. It's a popular and convenient insect repellent item. Is often seen in summers in the countryside. Okay. That's right, that lovely little piglet mosquito catcher. It does have a similar atmosphere, but first of all, I'm a little reluctant to recognize it as a seal.
そうだね。
Yeah, you're right. Tawa-san smiled obediently. It's like we're lovers, and I get the feeling that what she's saying, but maybe that's just too greedy. But I'm still surprised that she's so close to me. Strangely enough, I didn't have any resistance to getting close to Otawa-san right after she transferred in. In fact, it's becoming something similar to air. Something that's only natural. I don't know why Otawa-san is like that.
何か私の顔についてる？
Because this is a romance game, that's why she's like that. Is there something on my face? Otawa turned around and asked me a question. Ooh! Like, your face is on your face. Your whole face. Before I knew it, I was staring at her. I blushed thinking how embarrassing that was. No, it's nothing.
そう？
Is that so? Anyway, do you want something to eat? You must be hungry.
そうだね。ちょうどお昼時だし。
Yeah, it's just about Hiro Gohan time, which is lunchtime. Okay, let's get something to eat at that restaurant over there.
あ、ちょっと。
I don't really like that. Without even listening to Osawa-san's opinion, I wailed into a nearby store as fast as I could. She obediently followed me as I tugged at her. Gomin, which is Gomin Nasai. Sorry. This was the first thing I said when I finally entered the store. The shops we tried to enter were all crowded, and in the end, we came to a nearby fast food place. As an apology, I'll pay for this. At the very least, to atone for my sins. I spoke like a moth drugging a wallet I couldn't afford. What does that mean? I say it in a way that makes my wallet, which I don't have much time for, go crazy. Okay.
三上くんって義理がたい性格してるね。
Mikami-kun has a hard-headed personality. Otawa smiled a little and said something like that. Well, it's not like I'm obligated or anything, but from my point of view, no matter how I look at it, it's nothing more than an apology. Otawa-san's Kotona sounded like she was being slow on the uptake when it came to me. Or it sounded like she was being slow to guess something about me.
でもそういう性格って嫌いじゃないよ。
But I don't hate that kind of personality. I just don't necessarily like it either. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I was able to say that so casually because I understood what she was joking about. Before I knew it, I decided myself that Otawa-san was that kind of girl. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but I don't really care about it myself. Now then, what should we do until Shin arrives?
とりあえず待ってるしかないんじゃない？
We'll just hope she never arrives, is basically what she's gonna do, right? For now, let's just wait, won't we? That's true. He's the one who told me to go on ahead, so it's better to just wait here. I had no reason to object to Otawa-san's opinion, so I went along with her visit, or her opinion, or just with her.
それでね、優かったらそこで滑っちゃって。
And then Yue slipped there, or Yuka slipped there. Huh? That Moichizuki, huh? That's definitely weird. What? There's that Moichizuki-san. That's definitely strange. What? Who's Moichizuki-san? Conversation about friends in my class. For some reason, everyday things like that were fun. Every time Otawa-san smiled across from me, I felt an indescribable sense of empathy. Empathy? Well, I don't know if that's what that's supposed to be, but whatever. I didn't know what that meant for sympathy, but I still don't think it was easy. Okay, I gotta Google translate that one. That phrase makes no sense. I don't know what sympathy was for, but I still don't think it was Yue. Okay. Or Yuka. In the end, she never arrived. As we conversed, time passed moment by moment. It has been quite some time since we stayed in the shop, but Shin hasn't shown up at all. Accidental date! We didn't even know if he'd come to this shop in the first place, so we've been waiting all this time, so maybe it was our fault. Before I knew it, the sun was starting to set. With no other choice, Otawa-san and I decided to leave the store and head home. Goto goto to. What does this translate to? The train shakes violently. It gives me obnoxious train noise that makes my audio hard to edit. Oh, my OCR is getting so slow. Otawa-san and I were sitting side by side. There weren't many passengers, and besides us, there were only a few here and there. I've been talking to Otawa-san for a bit, but she suddenly cut me off. After that, there was nothing to talk about, and both fell silent. I wonder if that was... I wonder if that time went on for about 2 stations. The autumn sky has become familiar to me. I casually watched the sunset through the car window. Beautiful red sunset. It was the scenery I always saw, but for some reason a different sort of fantastical light cloud spread across my vision. Excuse me. It's been a few minutes since I saw that scene. No, I don't feel the passage of time that much. Tosatsu. Suddenly something leaned against my right shoulder. I was gonna be like the every boy's dream meme. Wondering what it was, I looked down at my right shoulder. Oh. Yep. There was Otawa-san's face as she leaned against me. Not terrified of peaceful sleep, just in a peaceful sleep. Resting in peace. She must have been tired as she looked completely defenseless. In this case, it's not because you believe in me or anything cool like that. Yeah, okay. Or it's probably not. That is. The sight of Otawa-san sleeping like this made her look both young and cute. Watching her sleep makes me want to be careful not to wake her up. I gently turned my head back and looked at the Akasu. The sky again, I presume? The dawn again. You mean the sunset. The sunset again. There's only a short time before the next station. Maybe that was a special time for Otawa and me. I sat still, feeling a little disappointed as I watched the disembarking station close in. We don't have one waking her up. Okay, so. We do a save. Save. In slot 9. And then we quit. I'm going to look at what we've got here. So, basically I kept going, I kept recording until I got to a new CG. So, got 5 from Ayaka. I think the first one there in the upper left is from Pure. We accidentally got to Pure, but that's 4 from the game. Don't know how that'll progress, but there's more of Ayaka later in the game, so it continues somehow, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more of her. We got 4 out of 10. Yue, skeleton scene, Nin Neko Pure. There's a lot of her. And we got the one where she's sleeping at the end. Maybe because Pure has some of her, but we'll continue. Shion, we skipped 3, but we still studied with her. So just because you skip some of her scenes doesn't mean you'll always skip her scenes. Okay. Got the first 3 of Kaoru out of 11. Okay. First 3 of Minamo out of 9 out of 14. Might have got locked out of a route. First 2 of Koyomi out of 10. Got some various. Okay. So I picked up 1 more CG. 1 more. Clear list. Get rid of that. No endings yet, still. 56 out of 153 scenes. 29 out of 167 CGs. No endings. Pretty solid into the 50s. Okay, so 65, 66, and 67 are the tests. Okay, this is a midterm test day 2, midterm test final day. And then, skipping a bunch of stuff. These are probably for other girls. Kaoru no something or other. So this is 74 is that Kaoru scene. 75 also is the Kaoru scene. So that's where we were at 75 then. But then it was 77. 85? Oh, Kaoru to... So, got 85. So maybe that's when she sleeps on my shoulder, is 85. Of course, that's 85 out of 100 and some odd, right? Some of them are probably part of Pure, though. Okay, so 146 and down, so out of 145. Which means a little over halfway, but not that much past halfway. This game is so long! And so boring! So long and so boring! Why? Okay, well, I gotta stop recording and then go make an ungodly amount of pancakes and eat an ungodly amount of carbs. And just in general, just continue with my life. If you watched that, thanks for watching it.